3 days before I checked that ticket, things started happening. It wasn't luck. It wasn't chance. They were signs so specific, so impossible to ignore, that today, I don't call them coincidences anymore. 7 people, 7 patterns. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what they did to receive these signs and how you can do the same thing. Subscribe to the channel and stay until the end. Look, I know you've heard 1,000 stories about winning the lottery, but what you're going to see here today isn't about blind luck. It's about real patterns that showed up before 7 different people won prizes that changed their lives forever. These stories are inspired by real cases, dramatized so you don't just get emotional, but learn practical techniques. Because here we follow a golden rule. A sign without action is just entertainment. A sign with technique becomes direction. And before you think this is a guarantee or irresponsible gambling, let's be clear, the lottery is risk. But conscious manifestation, trained perception, and aligned decisions, that changes any game in life. Before we get into the stories, you need to understand how these signs work. Because they don't appear out of nowhere, they follow a pattern in 3 layers. Layer 1, internal signs. These are the sensations, the conviction that comes from within, the repeated dreams, that unexplainable certainty that makes you act differently. Layer 2, external signs. Synchronicities, repeating numbers, casual conversations that push you in a direction, doors that close and redirect you to the right place. Layer 3, identity signs. You start to think, speak, and act like someone who has already received. It's not pretending. It's real alignment. The 7 winners you're going to meet today didn't live the same life, but they all went through these 3 layers before checking the winning ticket. And most importantly, they all did something with the signs they received. So stay with me until the end, because each sign comes with a technique you can apply today. Sign number 1. You start talking about money with calm certainty, as if it were already a fact. Sarah worked as an administrative assistant in Portland, Oregon. Salary of $42,000 a year, rent overdue, old car that failed every Monday. But 3 weeks before winning $8.7 million in Powerball, something changed in the way she spoke. It wasn't euphoria. It wasn't, oh, I'm gonna be rich. It was different. On a Tuesday, having coffee with her coworker Jessica at their neighborhood Starbucks, Sarah said something that stuck. I'm gonna pay off my credit card debt this year. I just know I will. Jessica even laughed. Sarah, you owe $11,000. With what money? And Sarah just shrugged, stirred her coffee, and replied, I don't know from where, but I feel like it's already handled. No drama, no desperation, just certainty. 2 weeks later, she was in her car, stopped at the Walgreens drive-thru in Beaverton. She looked at the dashboard. For 44 in the afternoon, she felt a tightness in her chest, but not from anxiety. It was like something said, buy the ticket. Now, she bought it. The following Saturday, checking the numbers on her phone while waiting for the pizza to heat up in the oven, she simply took a deep breath and murmured, I knew it. So here's the technique Sarah used. Declaration of certainty. Every day, 10 seconds. You choose a specific amount or a specific financial achievement and say out loud, looking in the mirror, I'm going to receive, say the exact amount. I just know I will. You don't need to know how. You don't need to force emotion. You just need to let the phrase land in your chest as truth. But wait, because Sarah didn't just feel it. She started dreaming about something very specific. And that brings us to the second sign. Sign number 2, insistent dreams that push you to check, act, or buy. Marcus, 51 years old, mechanic in Detroit, Michigan. Married, 3 kids, worked 6 days a week at the same shop since he was 23. For 2 weeks straight, he had the same dream. It wasn't confusing. It was too vivid. He was standing in front of a convenience store. The sign said, Lucky Stop, in flashing red neon. In the dream, he would walk in, grab a blue Gatorade from the fridge, and in line, look up. There was a digital clock on the wall. It always read 7:17. He'd wake up sweating. Every time. On Thursday of the second week, he was heading home after work. Took a different street because a 94 was congested. And then he saw it. Lucky Stop. Red neon. Exactly like in a dream. His heart raced. He parked, went in, grabbed the blue Gatorade, got in line, looked up. The clock read 7:16. He stood there almost hypnotized. When it changed to 7:17, he felt a chill run up the back of his neck. He turned to the clerk and said, "Give me a Mega Millions. Quick pick." He never played the lottery. 10 days later, Marcus checked the numbers during lunch break, sitting in the back of a Ford pickup he was fixing. He didn't scream. He just closed his eyes, rested his head on the greasy hood, and whispered, "You were trying to tell me, weren't you? $22 million. Before dreaming, Marcus was doing Dream Journal plus 3-line script. Keep a notebook or your phone's notes app by the bed. When you wake up from a dream that seems repetitive, specific, or loaded, write it down immediately. Then, while having coffee, read what you wrote and complete these 3 sentences. If this dream were a sign, it's telling me to the lightest action I can take today is, I trust that I'm being guided. This trains your brain to recognize guidance, not just nighttime entertainment. But signs don't always show up in your sleep. Sometimes they pop up in your waking life in such a repetitive way that you can't ignore them anymore. And that's where the 3rd sign comes in. Sign number 3. The same theme appears in conversations, signs, times, memes, and even receipts. This is Keisha's story, 38 years old, elementary school teacher in Atlanta, Georgia. She never paid attention to numerology, synchronicity, none of that. But for 5 days straight, the number 17 kept showing up. Monday, she grabbed the receipt from Kroger. Purchase total, $17.17. Tuesday, she was in traffic, stopped behind a car. License plate, GHD 1717. Wednesday, arrived at school. The clock on the teacher's lounge wall had stopped at 5:17. Thursday, opened Instagram. First post, a friend posted a photo celebrating 1.7 thousand followers. Someone's comment, lucky number 17. Friday, she was having coffee with her sister at Waffle House. Their table, number 17. Her sister even joked, "Girl, the universe is screaming at you. Buy a ticket with 17. Keisha laughed, but on the way back, she stopped at a Quick Trip, got a Powerball ticket, and manually marked the numbers. Put 17 twice in the sequence. Saturday morning, she was setting up the classroom for the next week, listening to music on Spotify. A notification appeared on her phone. She opened it. 5 numbers. One of them was 17. Another was 17 too. She won $4.3 million. Sitting on the floor of the empty classroom, surrounded by children's books and colorful posters, she looked up at the ceiling and said quietly, "Okay, I heard you. Technique. Write down 3 synchronicities a day. Grab your phone's notes app. Every day before bed, write down 3 things that repeated. Numbers, words, names, themes. It doesn't have to be obvious. It can be subtle. The important thing is to train your perception to catch patterns. Because the universe doesn't shout. It whispers repeatedly until you pay attention. And when you pay attention, you act. But sometimes the sign isn't something that appears. It's something that blocks you. A blockage that in the moment seems like frustration, but later you realize it was redirection. And that brings us to the 4th sign. Sign number 4, closed store, wrong route, different line. Something blocks you and takes you exactly to the right place. David, 44 years old, software engineer in Austin, Texas. Rigid routine. Same coffee, same route, same gas station every Friday. On that specific Friday, he left work early, stopped at the usual Chevron to fill up and buy a Snickers. But when he arrived, there was an orange cone blocking the entrance. Closed for maintenance. He huffed, annoyed, looked at GPS. The next station was 3 blocks away, in an area he never went to. A somewhat forgotten 7-Eleven near an empty parking lot. He entered the station grumbling, filled up quickly, went to pay. The line was long. He almost gave up and left without the Snickers. But something made him stay. In front of him, an old man in a red cap bought a lottery ticket and commented out loud, to no one specific, "Today I feel like it's the day. Why not, right?" David smiled without meaning to. When it was his turn, almost on impulse, he asked, "Give me a Lotto Texas too. Quick pick." The clerk, a young guy with headphones around his neck, printed the ticket and said with a strange smile, Good luck, man. You're gonna need it. David didn't even care. Stuck the ticket in the glove compartment and forgot about it. 4 days later, looking for the car manual, he found the crumpled ticket. Checked it through the app. Stood still. $11.6 million. He started the car, went back to the 7-Eleven. The Chevron station was still under maintenance. He parked, looked at the 7-Eleven sign, and murmured, "If you hadn't closed, I would have never come here." Technique, alignment question. When something blocks your path, traffic, closed store, cancel plan, take a deep breath and ask, what is the lightest and rightest action now? Don't force it. Don't fight the blockage. You listen to where it pushes you. Because sometimes the universe doesn't give you what you want. It redirects you to what you need. Now, there's a sign that's even more subtle. It's not external. It's internal. And it happens when you finally stop begging for the result and start acting differently. That brings us to the fifth sign. Sign number 5. You stop begging for the money and start acting without anxiety, but with more clarity. This is Monica's story, 29 years old, barista in Seattle, Washington. For months, she played the lottery every week. And every week, she checked the numbers with her heart racing, hands sweating, practically begging the universe. Please, please let me win. I need this so much. She never won. Until one rainy Sunday in November, sitting on the small couch in the apartment she shared with 2 roommates, Monica had a moment of exhaustion. She looked at the week's ticket on the coffee table and simply sighed. You know what? Whatever. It wasn't anger. It wasn't giving up. It was surrender. She put the ticket in a drawer and forgot about it. In the following days, something changed. She started acting differently, organized her finances in a simple notebook, researched how to invest small amounts, cleaned out her closet and donated clothes, started walking in the morning before work just to clear her head. It wasn't desperation. It was lightness. 2 weeks later, cleaning the drawer, she found the forgotten ticket. Looked at the date. The drawing had been 3 days ago. She opened the lottery app with no expectations. Typed in the numbers. The screen flashed. Congratulations. You've won $6.2 million. Monica dropped her phone on the floor. Didn't scream. Didn't jump. Sat on the edge of the bed, covered her face with her hands, and started crying softly. When I stopped suffocating, you finally could reach me. Technique, breathing plus post-prize visualization. 60 seconds. Sit down, take 3 deep breaths. Now, don't visualize the drawing, the numbers, the moment of checking. Visualize the next day. You waking up calm, the feeling of security. What you'll do with the piece of someone who already has it. This removes the vibration of lack and puts you in a frequency of reception. But here's where it gets interesting. Because after you release the anxiety, you start doing something that seems strange. You start planning the new life for real. And that's the 6th sign. Sign number 6. You stop daydreaming and start planning for real. Houses, taxes, documents, investments. This is Carlos, 47 years old, warehouse supervisor in Phoenix, Arizona. Divorced, 2 teenage kids, living in a 1-bedroom apartment with an old air conditioner that barely worked in the summer. 3 weeks before winning, Carlos did something he himself thought was bizarre. On a Tuesday night, after putting frozen lasagna in the microwave, he opened his old laptop and started researching. Lawyers specialized in lottery winners. It wasn't fantasy. He was reading real articles, taking notes, saving PDFs about how to protect prizes, how to structure trusts, how to deal with federal and state taxes. He created a spreadsheet in Google Sheets. Title, Post-Prize Plan. On the spreadsheet, how much to pay off credit card debt, $8,200. How much to set aside for the kids' college, how much to invest in index funds. He had researched Vanguard on Reddit. How much not to tell anyone in the family for the first 6 months. He even researched houses, not mansions. 3-bedroom houses in Scottsdale, with a small yard and 2-car garage. Saved 5 properties in Zillow favorites. When his work buddy saw the open tab on his laptop during break, he laughed. Dude, you don't even play the lottery every week. What's this trip? Carlos shrugged and closed the laptop. Just want to be ready, in case it happens. 2 weeks later, he bought a ticket at the Circle K near his house. Quick pick, $20 million. When he checked it, He didn't jump, didn't scream. He opened the laptop, opened the spreadsheet, and started executing, line by line, exactly what he had planned. Technique used: one-page post-prize plan. Grab a sheet or open a document. Right? What I pay immediately: debts, overdue bills. What I invest, where, how much, with whom. What I don't tell, and who I don't tell for the first months. Where I'm going to live, real research, save links. This isn't fantasy. It's energetic preparation. You align your mind with the identity of someone who has already received. Now, there's one last sign. And this one is the strangest because it's not pretty. It's not motivational. It's harsh. But all 7 winners went through this before the turnaround. And it's the 7th sign. Sign number 7. Before the turnaround, criticisms appear, people asking to borrow, draining your energy and doubting you. This is Jennifer's story, 35 years old, nurse in Miami, Florida. 2 weeks before winning $9.4 million, her life seemed to be falling apart. Her mom called asking to borrow $1,500 for an emergency, the 4th emergency of the year. Her ex-boyfriend texted after months of silence, wanting to talk, actually wanting her to pay half his overdue rent. At work, a coworker made a comment in front of everyone. "Jen, you live in this it's gonna work out vibe, but you're 35, single, renting. When are you gonna wake up to reality?" Jennifer felt her chest tighten, but she didn't fight back. Just took a deep breath and went to the bathroom, looked in the mirror and whispered to herself, "I deserve good things. I deserve to receive, and no one's gonna convince me otherwise." That night, alone in her small apartment, she wrote on a Post-it and stuck it on the fridge. "I don't owe an explanation of my faith to those who don't have theirs." The following Saturday, she won. And you know the first thing she did? Didn't tell her mom. Didn't tell her ex. Didn't tell her coworker. She called the lawyer she had researched, set up an anonymous trust, and silently started building her new life. 6 months later, when she finally told her mom, the reaction was exactly what she expected. "Why didn't you tell me before? I could have." Jennifer just smiled and replied, "Because I needed to protect the blessing. And I did." Technique: shielding plus worthiness affirmations. When toxic people, critics, or energy vampires show up, and they will show up before your turnaround, you do 2 things. Don't share your plans with those who doubt. Secrecy is protection. Affirm out loud, every day, "I deserve abundance, and I don't need to prove it to anyone." Social test is the final filter. If you get through it without breaking, the universe knows you're ready. And there you have it. The 7 signs that appeared before 7 different people completely changed their lives. But now comes the most important part. What connects all these signs? So let's recap what happened here. Sarah, Marcus, Keisha, David, Monica, Carlos, Jennifer. 7 people, completely different lives, different cities, different ages, different stories, but they all went through the same pattern in 3 layers. Layer 1, internal sign, Sarah's calm conviction. Marcus's repeated dreams. Monica's surrender. Carlos's silent planning. Layer 2, external sign, Keisha's synchronicities. The blockage that redirected David. The social test that Jennifer faced. Layer 3, identity shift. They all started to think, speak, and act like people who had already received, even before checking the ticket. They weren't pretending. They were aligning. And here's the secret no one talks about. Sign without action is entertainment. Sign with technique becomes manifestation. So I'm going to give you now the complete ritual that synthesizes everything you saw here. It's just 2 minutes a day. Step 1, visualization, 60 seconds. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. Now visualize the day after you receive. Not the drawing, not the numbers. The next day, you waking up calm. The feeling of security in your chest. The first wise decision you make. How you act differently. Feel in your body. Let the peace settle. Step 2, certainty script, 20 seconds. Open your eyes. Speak out loud. Looking in the mirror or at the screen. I'm aligned with abundance. I recognize the signs. I act when I'm guided. And I deserve to receive. Step 3, aligned action of the day, 40 seconds. Ask, what is the lightest and rightest action I can take today? It could be organizing a drawer. It could be researching investments. It could be buying a ticket. It could be forgiving a mental debt. What matters isn't the size of the action. It's the alignment. Do this every day, 2 minutes, and watch the signs appear. Now I want to hear from you. Comment below. Which of these 7 signs have you already experienced? Was it the calm conviction, the dreams, the synchronicities, the blockage that became redirection? And if you want, tell the story. Because sometimes when you write the sign, you activate it even more. And look, if you like this format, real stories with practical manifestation techniques, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. Because every week we bring a new story that's not just to move you. It's for you to apply. I believe in you. I believe you're being guided. And I believe that when your moment comes, you'll recognize the signs. Until the next video. And remember, sign without action is entertainment. Sign with technique becomes manifestation.